So I have this online friend group where we speak about just what we're going through in life and our self improvement journey and our plans and everything. And I was speaking about how I've enjoyed so much how our conversations have evolved over the last year because we've been like making weekly calls for like the last year. And we always just speak about our week and what we're planning and everything like that. And I really loved how our conversations evolved. Like they evolved from like typical stuff where you're kind of talking about how you hate like the wokeness and like the feminism and all that crap. Like speaking about all that to like we actually started like completely focusing on like just speaking about what's going on in our lives. Right? We spoke about like what we're doing, what we're struggling with, all the progress we're making. But there was a point where we kind of just sat and we're like, actually, we speak a lot about all these plans we have, but we've been doing that for so long and like nothing's really changed. And we had to switch. Like something had to change. And I think like a while ago we were like, okay, cool. Like now we're actually going to start making goals. Like we're going to start making goals at the start of the week. To be like, oh, this is my goal for the next week, and then we check back in at the start of the following week. Right? And it was really helpful, right? Because it's like an accountability group. But the way we started this group was just like we speak about like what we're going through in life, and it's just companionship, like just people to talk to. I don't know why I did this. But yeah, you just have people that you speak to and that are like just like they're Christian, they're around your age, they're on self improvement, and you have like just brothers, right, that you can go through the journey with. But like we're like actually we speak a lot about all these plans we have, all these things we're gonna do, all the way we're gonna change our lives and everything. But we make progress, but it's not really changing. Like the conversations are still the same. I don't really like that. And we're like, okay, cool, let's start like making goals at the start of the week. And that's when things actually like completely changed. And for you, like I want you to ask yourself that question. Are you one of those people who's just having the same conversations over and over again, but nothing's really changing? Like maybe it's with your friends and you guys just speak about self improvement. Oh, this week I'm gonna get started on this new gym routine. Oh, did you hear about like one meal a day? What do you think of that? Oh, maybe you should try this. I'm trying fasting now. I'm trying this. And it's like, bro, like it's been a year. Like, what's going on? Like, nothing's changing, right? Or maybe you have those conversations with yourself, right? Maybe it's been the last 5, 10 years, and you've been thinking about, oh, I'm gonna make these plans. I'm gonna do this. This week I'll start gym. This week I'll start gym. No, no, no. This week I'll start gym. No, no, no. What's happening? Like, nothing's changing, right? And I want you to assess your self improvement journey. It's something I kind of speak about like on a regular basis in like my videos, where I'd be like, actually, I want you to think about like when you first started self improvement and now, and think about like just assess what's happened, right? If you're anything like me, you'll probably look like I started properly self improvement in like 2021. I look back and I'm like, I've made like really decent progress, like really good progress. Like I'm definitely like happy with like the amount of progress I've made. But also, it's been 3 years. Like there are people like 3 years is more than enough time for you to go out there and like go and start like a whatever like business you're aiming at or whatever it is that you're aiming at like becoming financially free at. Like you should have made so much more progress by now, right? Like if you look like 3 years ago, let's say you started gym. Like I'll use my example. Like 3 years ago, I started gym, and like now where I'm at, I'm happy with my physique. I'm very happy with my physique. But also, it's been 3 years. If I was consistent, like from start to finish, from like when I started until now, my body would be so much better, right? And obviously gym is a bit different because obviously like the difference between like like once you hit a certain level and like the amount of muscle you need to gain just to move a little bit takes more effort than you did to actually get there, and that will be the position I'm in now. But that's beside the point. I've made good progress in the first 3 years. I could have made a lot more. It's probably the same for you, right? You might look back, maybe your self improvement journey has been 2 years, maybe it's been 5 years, right? You've made decent progress. Like considering that if you've like fallen off the wagon, you've gone back on and all of that, like you would have made decent progress just by like virtue of like you carry on doing it. But also, if you had been very consistent from the start and you kept on like improving, you would have been so much further, right? And that's just one important thing to think about. Like, are you having the same conversations with yourself, but nothing is changing because you're not implementing it, all right? A point I want to speak about, which is something I spoke about this like a couple of weeks ago, was the 3 stages of self improvement. Right. So the first stage of self improvement is basically the enlightenment phase. You've just found out about self improvement. You found out about going to the gym. You started going to the gym like 3 times a week. You started eating better. Maybe you found out about whey protein or whatever it is. And it's been a month, and you can see the beginning gains coming in fast. Right. Like your trajectory is literally like this, and that's the case with everything. Like everything you're doing, whatever it is, like or maybe you sort of like working on like a little business and like, oh, you went from like zero to like $100 this month. It's like, damn, that's incredible, right? And everything was like this in the enlightenment phase, right? You've just got this whole new world open up to you, and you're like, oh, damn, life actually is a little bit like a video game. And then that moment, it does feel like a video game because you literally like you go to the gym for like 2 weeks and you're seeing improvements already, right? Then stage two, which is the sucky phase, is the awkward phase, right? It's not called the sucky phase. I said it's a phase that sucks. It's called the awkward phase. There you go. This is the phase where everything's open to you. Like you know what you need to be doing. You know what you could be doing. What your life could look like if you did the things you're supposed to do. But that initial energy is gone, right? Like the trajectory is no longer like this anymore. Like now it's beginning to look a little bit like this. And while you're in the phase, it feels like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. But then if you were to focus properly and you zoom out the graph, I'm sure you know like the illustration I'm speaking about, where it's like in the moment, like you can see the little peaks and troughs and everything. But then when you zoom out the graph over like a long period of time, it does look like this. But when you're in the phase, when you're dealing with a lot of this, it's not fun, right? It's really not fun, especially when you've just come from a phase where it was literally just like this, and now you're dealing with, like, you're struggling with motivation. Now you really need to jump to the next level. You really need to dig deep and find out why you're doing this. This is when you start journaling. You start asking yourself like the real questions, right? Like, what do I do? Like, how do I change this? And the way you jump from stage two to stage three, which stage three is the autonomous phase, is what I called it, right? It's the phase where self improvement, it's like it's a way of life. Like I'm not waking up thinking about, oh, I need to go to the gym so that I can make sure I've gone to the gym 5 times this week, and then I can be like, yeah, I feel good, I've done good, like for self improvement. It's like no, I have a purpose in my life, and I'm focusing on that, and I just work on it. And I go to the gym, by the way, just as a, I want to keep fit, or I want to improve in this area, or whatever it is. But it's a part, like you have a routine, you just do. You just do it. It's part of who you are. You don't have to motivate yourself in the morning to be like, oh, I really need to go to the gym so I can tick off Tuesday that I've gone to the gym and I can carry on with that streak. Like you're not thinking about any of that. Like you're just living life. Like picture like a James Bond or like a Harvey Specter or like a Tommy Shelby, whatever it is. Yeah, they don't know nothing about self improvement, bro. They just do the things. Like they just do them. They just have a certain life they're living and they just do it. Right? That is the autonomous phase. And the way you make that jump from the awkward phase to the autonomous phase is it's an identity change, as I've just said, right? Like James Bond, let's use him, right? He's got a mission in his life and he knows he's James Bond and he has things he needs to do. He does them. Right? Whereas when you're in like the awkward phase, you're thinking so much about everything. You're like, oh damn, should I do this? Should I do this? Like, or maybe I should chop and change and go do this. Like, no. You just have like a purpose in your life that you focus on and your identity is aligned with that. Now I've made many videos on identity. I've made many videos on purpose. My last two videos are on purpose. Yeah, you can go watch those, but that's basically like the 3 stages of self improvement. And the way you make that jump is again changing your identity. And you don't want to be in a stage where you're just talking about all these plans you have. Like you actually want to go out there and do things. Now I have a last part where I kind of just want to list out like four like essential principles basically that I've been learning this year that you need to do if you really want to like be consistent. And okay, the four I've got here is you need to stay consistent, you need to focus on essentialism, you need to focus on inputs, and don't assess anything until the time passes. So let me break those down. Stay consistent is very simple. You know what it's like. Like you need to stay consistent. Compound effect and all of that. Like you stay consistent, the amount of like progress you'll make is incredible. Um, Essentialism. This is something that a lot of us like struggle with, especially when you're new in self improvement. Even if you're not new in self improvement, but you really just want to change your life. Like you have all these things you want to do, and it's like, oh wait, should you? Maybe I should start a marketing business. Or maybe I should start a social media. What is it? An SMME. Maybe I should go start that. Or maybe I should be a YouTuber. Or maybe I should go and do this. Like focus on one thing. I remember the illustration that really changed my mindset on this was one Hamza drew, where there were two circles. Right, one circle had like arrows all around, arrows that were like going out, right? But they were very short, right? And then this other circle just had one arrow and it was long, aiming in one direction, completely aimed in that direction, and it was much longer than the other one. And basically, you understand. It's like the little arrows. If you have all these little things taking your attention, all these little directions you're going in, you're not going to get far. But if you focus on one thing and you align everything towards that one thing, you are gonna fly. Like you will zoom. You will go really far if you focus on that. So please focus on essentialism because if you try and like chop and change, every like couple of weeks, you be like, oh, I want to do this or oh, I want to go do this. Like it's not going to end well because you're not going to make that much progress. You're just going to get like a little. You're going to get those little arrows. You're going to make a little bit of progress, then you move on to the next thing. A little bit of progress, next thing. Whereas if you just focus on one thing and you go through like that difficult phase, you keep making progress, you keep making progress, you're consistent. Eventually, you're gonna find that bar like really, really high. Like the arrow's gonna be really long, and that's why it's very important to focus on essentialism. Then the third part is focus on the inputs. Right? It's another thing we struggle with a lot is that like you judge how much progress you're making in your life based on like what's actually like what you're actually getting, right? You judge how well you're doing in the gym based on how much muscle you're growing, and you shouldn't do that. Or you judge how well you're doing in business based on how much money you make and how much it's improving. But you shouldn't do that. You should focus on the inputs because there's a really long time between you putting in the work and you actually getting the results. And it's like the gym example, don't focus on the muscle you're building, right? Obviously, if you go a really long time and you're not building muscle, you might need to reassess and be like, oh, maybe I'm doing this exercise wrong, or whatever it is. But genuinely, what you should be doing is you should stop. When you start, it's like, okay, cool. This is my plan. My eating plan is like this. Okay, I want to go on a bulk, then I want to go on a cut, or maybe I want to do like a lean bulk over a long period of time, or whatever it is. But you pick one of like the proven techniques to build muscle, right? In terms of your meal plan. Then your gym like routine. You go out there and you do proper research. Like there's so many videos. That's the way I did it. I went onto YouTube and I just searched like the best exercises for like certain like body parts, and I just built like my own like routine. You build that routine, and once you're happy with it, focus on it, right? And obviously you need to learn how to do the form and stuff if you're a beginner. But obviously after time you kind of learn. But you at the start, you know what your meal plan is supposed to be. You know how you're supposed to eat. You know what exercises you're supposed to be doing, and you know how you're supposed to be doing those exercises. And you know how many times a week you want to go to the gym, and how consistently you're going to go to the gym. Now, all you need to do is follow that. Follow that eating plan and follow that workout routine, and just do it. Just focus on that. And you might go a period where you're not really growing much or whatever it is, but like genuinely, if you just focus on that and you focus on how consistently you're following that plan, then your results are going to be so much better than if you focused on, oh, it's been like a month and, oh, my bicep isn't really growing. Let me completely change up my routine. Or let me completely change up my eating plan. Oh, I was doing this little like lean bulk, but like actually I want to go on a cut again. I want to get abs again. It's like, bro, you keep doing that, you keep chopping and changing, you're not going to make progress. You need to really commit and go like essentialism and go hard, right? So that's why you need to focus on the inputs. Focus on what you're doing daily that you've decided is good to make you progress, and yeah, and then from there, like you just focus on that. Don't worry, like, oh, it's been a month and I've been working really hard on my business, but I've not made any improvements in cash. I should completely change my whole plan. No, keep working. Like your month, you've worked consistently on your business. Focus on that. Do that again and do it again. And obviously, you're in business, like you're gonna make tweaks and stuff if things aren't working. But generally, like you're focusing on the inputs. You're focusing on the work you're doing. You're focusing on what you're actually doing, not what you're getting out of it. Because again, like there is a delay between the work you put in and the results you get, and also that consistency makes a big difference. One thing Jordan Peterson said that I remember so well is that like trajectory is much more important than position, right? So where you're going is much more important than where you are now. So what you're doing now, right? You being consistent right now in the gym, I mean, you being consistent on your business or whatever it is, that's much more important, than how much muscle you have right now, how much money you're currently making, right? I can use social media as an example, right? You cannot judge. Oh, I posted a video last week and it didn't get that many views. So the videos I'm posting right now aren't getting many views. It's like no, it's more important that you're consistently posting and you're consistently improving because your trajectory eventually you're gonna like fly. But right now you're not seeing the results. But that's why you need to focus on the inputs. You need to focus on the getting out that content and like posting consistently, whatever it is. And that's why you need to focus on inputs. And the fourth one is this one is very, very important. I need you to hear me very carefully. Do not assess anything until you've given yourself enough time to actually make progress. Now, I want to use an example in my own life that's happened. I wouldn't say recently, but like, yeah, it's happened this year. So I moved to a new city, right? And I'm like, okay, I have this plan. I want to make all these friends. Like, I hate being lonely. I felt lonely my whole life. Like, I really want like a good group of like really close friends, like brothers, right? And I was like, okay, cool. In Feb, I started working. I started working like early, like late Jan. In Feb, I got my car, and I was like, okay, cool. I got my car now. Now let's start doing the social things, right? It was slow at the start. It was really slow. Like I was doing stuff, but not enough to like, quench my social thirst and actually get that group. But there was a Saturday, dude. It was a Saturday. I did not have anything planned that Saturday, bro. Like I remember Saturday afternoon, I cried, bro. I was like, oh, I'm so lonely. Like I'm so lonely. My plan this year was to come out and like be social and go out there and make friends. And it's a Saturday, the day that people have plans. And sorry, um, I'll just hit my mic. It's a Saturday, the day that people have plans, and I'm supposed to be doing stuff, but I've got nothing. And in my head, I was like, I'm in a place where I'm lonely, and I'm not doing anything about it. It's curtains. Like this is bad, right? And I remember after I like journaled and like wrote down, like, you have these things I call weekly debriefs where I just spend like every week I kind of just assess my week and I'm like, okay, what was good about this week? What was bad about this week? What do I want to improve going into the next week? I remember the one thing I said. I was like, give yourself enough time. I was like, do not assess anything. Do not assess your social life until 30 June 2024, right? And this was in Feb 2024. I was like, yeah, because dude, it had literally been like, it wasn't Feb, it was March, but it had literally been like 3 weeks since I had like my car. And I was like, oh, damn, like, I don't have stuff to do. Like, I don't know, I'm not building friends and I'm not like building the social life that I want and everything. Like, what's going on? And the thing is, I was like doing the inputs. Like, I was, like when I was at work, I was socializing, I was looking around, like things I could go join and stuff. But it just takes time. Like it really just takes time. And lo and behold, like today I'm filming. It's 29 June. Tomorrow is 30 June 2024. And bro, like I am happy when I have a Saturday and I don't have anything planned because I'm like, oh, I can actually like I don't have to wake up at 4 to film my content and like do all the things I need to do. Like if I have a Saturday off, I'm like happy days because I've got stuff on Tuesday evenings, I've got stuff on Wednesday evenings, I've got stuff on Friday evenings, and Sunday again I've always got stuff. So I'm like, and I work obviously like it's not 9 to 5. It's like 7:30 to 4. And I work basically the whole day, like Monday to Friday. So it's like when I get a Saturday where I can just sit at home and like create content and just like rejig my like we just chill, right? I love that. Like I love that. Whereas take it back like 5 months ago, I was crying because I didn't have anything on Saturday. It's like it's such a switch because now I've actually got like the group that I was looking for. And it's like just wait, like just chill, give yourself time to assess. Sorry, give yourself time before you assess because you need to give yourself time to actually like make the progress. Allow things actually come to fruition, right? And the same thing goes for anything you have in your life. Like be logical, and it's difficult when you're in the moment because it's like, oh damn, why am I not making the progress and stuff? But just give yourself time to actually like allow God to actually like work in your life, bro. Like, give him time, right? But yeah, that is a very important thing that I learned. But yeah, that's all for this video. You guys let me know what you think of the topic in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to join the Self Improvement Brotherhood, and until next time, I'll see you boys.